Welcome to this week's painting project. As you know, we use M3 method of painting for painting a project each week. Here I have a reference photograph which I clicked near the Malavali village, which is on the way from Mumbai to Pune. During monsoon season, this region of India receives a lot of rain and there is a lot of greenery around, and that's what we will try to depict in our painting. The major shapes from this photograph which I want to use are the sky, this mountain, this foreground which has a lot of green grass and some puddles of water, and one or two big trees. So I have chosen a landscape format of the paper, and the horizon line or the bottom of the mountain in this case will be somewhere here. Remember not to cut the vertical into halves with any lines, and then I'll have this mountain something like this, and I'll have some trees here, and most of these trees will be silhouetted because of the weather. You can see it's cloudy weather, so there'll be clouds in the sky, but there'll be some light towards this point. So there'll be clouds like this, and there'll be a big tree here which will tower over the sky, over the mountain line. So there'll be a big tree here, and there'll be some shrubs here and there. So this will be one shrub, and towards the base of the mountain there'll be some shrubs, and so on. And this all will be either reddish due to the earth or green due to the grass which grows in this region. So though I have shown this tree as elliptical, I'll make sure that I paint it realistically. But just to identify the shapes, this foreground will be shape number 1, this mountain will be shape number 2, the sky will be shape number 3, and this will be 4 and maybe 5, and so on. I won't count these small shapes separately, but we have approximately 5 to 6 shapes in this painting, and this simplification will help us in the next stage. So see you in the step number 2 where we will draw this sketch or composed painting onto the canvas or paper which we are going to use, and then block in the main colors. Welcome to the second step of this painting project. I have this paper here. It's 140 GSM watercolor paper. I have taped the sides of this paper to get a nice edge when I complete the painting, and I have the colors here. As I said, we use only 3 colors and white. This is Prussian blue, this is chrome yellow, this is burnt sienna, and this is Chinese white or titanium white. And I'll be using just 2 brushes. This one is a flat brush of size 12, and this is a round thin brush of size 6, and I'll be using this mainly to draw the outline and add details in the next step. And I'll start laying in the color here. You may not see it right now because it's not very different from the color of the paper, but it will be obvious when we lay in the other colors. And I'll let this color dry before I come in for the next layer on top of that. So I'll have now the blue color, and I want this to be light, so I might add some of this color into it, which I had pre-mixed, and let me see how this looks. I want this color to be the sky color wherever there are no clouds. So I've lightened it further and I'll be applying it on the sky. Let me make it slightly thin and I can apply it now. I'll go over this tree also because I can then have some sky holes. I'll make it slightly dark or more bluish as I go towards the top of the sky. And I'll leave it at that. Now I can come in with a color for the base of the mountain or the green area of in the painting. I want it to be green, but still I want it also to be dark because it's an evening time painting. So it will be green, but it will be darker green. And let's test this color. Seems okay to me. And there'll be some ground here. And maybe it will be browner here. And as I come towards the bottom of the painting or towards the immediate foreground, I'll start to add in some texture by using the brush like this. And I'll have this color come towards this point now. And there'll be land here also. It's something like an island or something with some puddles of water around it. And I don't want this edge to be sharp, so again I should have done it earlier, but I can do it now. And I can go in and add some bushes with the same color, and I want them to be hazy or blurred because they are at such a distance. This also makes this separation or the edge between the foreground or the ground and the mountain less important or less obvious. Now I'll come in with darks for the big trees. So again, a very dark color, darker than the ground, because these are the silhouetted trees. I'll make them slightly more brownish and some yellow. These will be more brownish than greenish, so I've added more of brown and little bit of yellow. and let's see how this looks. Yes, seems good. I'm using the brush like this. This way I can make the strokes very light and fluid, and because I don't want any sharp edges right now, and there'll be a bush here. You can see that this is darker than the bushes in the background for obvious reasons. Maybe there'll be some bushes here. And now I lay in some of that for the big tree. And now I'll have to design the tree basically, because this is the final shape of the tree. I can't get away with a elliptical shape now. So I have to be careful how I lay in or design the shape of the tree. I don't want it symmetric. And also I don't want the tree to be completely standing upright. I want some tilt in the shape. As I come towards the bottom of the tree, the color will be darker. And let me suggest the trunk of the tree. Something like this. And some bushes here, which are also in the shade, or there is very less light, I won't say shade. So that completes the second stage of painting, which is the block-in. So we have color in every part of the painting, and all the shapes have been given their base color. And in the next step, I will add the right amount of details to complete the painting. So see you in the next part of this project. Welcome to the third part of this painting project, which is the section in which we add details to the painting. And now I will start by adding details to one shape after the other. And I will start this time by adding clouds to the shape of the sky. And for the clouds, I need a gray color. So I'll make a gray color I'll need some Prussian blue again. So I'll make the gray using blue and burnt sienna. This burnt sienna has dried because I had a gap of some time till when I wanted this color to dry. So after I add white, we'll get a gray. This is still a greenish gray, and I want to get rid of the greenish tinge. So I'll add more blue to it, and let's see what happens when we add some brown. Yeah, that color seems to be good, and it has less of a green tinge now. And let's see how dark this looks when we apply it here. So let's test this. This is too dark. So what I'll do is I'll add more white to it. And now let's test this. This seems right, but I'll still make it slightly more bluish. And I'll also use a dry brush. So I'm wiping my brush on this piece of cloth, and let's see how this works. So I want a cloud to come in from here. So I'm using a dry brush, and that ensures that the color doesn't spread on its own. This is the speciality of using watercolors in the gouache style, where we add in white to it, which means that we spread the color in the area where we want it. Otherwise, in watercolor, if you use in a transparent, more fluid fashion, the color spreads on its own. And let me see where I can add a few more clouds. I'm keeping the color very dry. I'm adding just enough water so that I can spread the color on the paper. And these are some clouds which are still in the sky after the rain shower has passed. So they do have some moisture in them, but not enough that it will rain again. I want this side to be slightly more darker now. I now need a lighter touch here, lighter color of clouds, because they'll be distant clouds and they'll be smaller in size. I wiped out the extra color and I'm trying to merge it into the existing blue color. And I'll wait for this color to dry, because once it is dry, it changes a bit, because this is watercolor. If it was oil, it wouldn't have changed its darkness or value, but since it is watercolor, it changes its value, and that's why I want to wait till it dries up and then decide if I need to add anything. I think I can add some vertical element here, which is again going to be a tree, or it could be an electric pole, but I'll prefer to keep it a natural element, and I don't want it also to be as dark as this, but I'll use caution and try to add something here which adds some interest in the midground. I want this tree to slightly echo this tree, but I don't also want it to be the lone tree there. So I'll add something here which may not be as big as this tree, but then let me look at the painting from a distance and add last few brush strokes before I call the painting as done. And let me try adding a spot of white in this area, just to suggest that this area or this puddle of water also extends here, or there is another puddle on the other side of this tree. I think that's enough of a suggestion, and I think I'm happy with the painting overall, and I'll just see if I need to add some indication of a cloud here behind this tree. Otherwise it looks as if the cloud is gathering around the tree, which I don't want to happen. Yeah. So now let me remove the tape and see the end result. Hopefully this tape now will not peel a layer of the paper. So far so good. Now let's see which one is on top. This should go up next. And the final edge, and that's it. Just to summarize, we started with a photograph, and using the M3 method we first composed a painting and identified how many shapes or big shapes we need to have in the painting and plan for their block in and details. And the idea is to keep the big shapes to a minimum. 5 or 6 is a good number to have. If you have too many small shapes of different values and colors, it kind of overwhelms the viewer and complicates the scene, which I didn't want to happen. And in the detail step, I added details like the clouds and finer details to this tree and things like that to complete the painting. I hope you liked this demo and also like the output, and I'm attaching the reference photograph which I used for making this painting with this video, with this painting project, so that you can download it and make your own version of the painting, because that is where you will learn the techniques, and the more you practice, the better your paintings will be. So keep practicing and see you in the next video. Thank you. Well, thanks for watching. You can visit my website here and subscribe to my channel. Here is a video you might enjoy, and here is a playlist of more such stuff.